Welcome to Face to Face, the program
that frontally discusses
political and social issues in Nigeria. The weekly program brought to you on Wednesday by 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by Prince Ewemade Concourse, powered by GCSDN.
Join us.
Good evening to all our wonderful viewers all over the world, and welcome to today's edition of Face to Face. Today we are going to be discussing why Nigeria must vote. That's the topic for today's discussion. Before I bring my guest to the studio, I'm going to give you a brief analysis of the discussion today. These are some of the questions for today. Why should I vote? If I vote, the answer is if I vote, I will be able to elect a leader of my choice. The next question, does my vote really count? Yes, your vote does count. But if you do not vote, then your vote does not count. This is the reason politicians buy votes during election period. Who should I vote for? The person to vote for is a matter of choice. Voting for a candidate is completely your choice. However, we strongly recommend that everyone must scrutinize their candidate before voting. This is to ensure that you are voting for the right candidate during an election period. Do I get paid for voting during an election? No. No one gets paid for exercising their civic responsibility during an election. However, politicians do entice people with money, food, and what have you. We strongly advise people not to collect money from politicians, because if you do, you will be selling your rights to them till the next election cycle. Your rights to demand equal justice, a good hospital, good roads, and stable electricity will be taken away from you to the next election. What are the implications of not voting at all? If you do not vote, you should not expect anything good from the elected official, because your vote is your right. Vote and vote wisely. Today, I'm going to be joined in the studio by two of our compatriots. I'm going to bring them right to the studio now. One of them is here. Dr. Edmonds, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you.
And greetings to my fellow Nigerians.
Thank you. Many Nigerians believe that their votes do not count due to the malpractices involved in election cycles. Many have lost hope in the electoral process. We must therefore continue to educate Nigerians on the need for them to get involved in who is elected at every level of the government in order to enjoy the true dividends of democracy. Many of our people, they are tired. They complain about their votes not being counted during an election. Well, this is not true. Every vote does count. If you don't vote, you are giving away your right to demand for equal treatment, for justice, for good, for the dividends of democracy. So we encourage everyone to vote. Vote and defend your vote. If you don't vote, you are giving away a lot. Not just the opportunity to receive the dividends of democracy. You can also not get your leaders or your elected official to be accounted for whatever they've done in your constituency. So that is why you must vote. Voting is very important. It's very crucial. Dr. Edmond.
Yes.
Why do you think most Nigerians they are no longer interested in voting during an election season?
why do most Nigerians not vote during election season?
Yeah.
I think it's a problem that started a long time ago.
Yeah.
One reason, the military era or the military junta took over the instrument of democracy and bastardized it, and then actually they denied us of democracy during the military junta, and then Nigeria became too relaxed and ignore and don't even understand the point of voting, or because there's no voting. Military just imposed themselves on us. That's one reason. Then we have resumption of the democracy in the 1997, which was truncated again in 83 when this current dictator called President Buhari took over as a military. And then it was short, then we continued military era to the 90s, and then we resumed democracy in 1993. That was the last draw for Nigeria. 1993 election when MKO Abiola was elected, overwhelmingly elected as a people's mandate, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but he was denied an opportunity to preside over Nigerians. And from then he was jailed, and then he was, he died, or he was killed or murdered. So this series of events, it showed that 1993 annulment of the election. That 1990 was the last draw for Nigeria, because Nigerians came out en masse and voted for MKO. That was the people's mandate. After that, it was downhill. Even as democracy resumed in 1999, Nigerians were not really interested in voting. And after 1999 election, it kept going, declining over the year. Just check our history, check the election numbers from 1999, 2003, 2006. It keep declining over the years. Keep declining because people saw there's no need to vote anymore. These people are imposing themselves on us. So what's the point of voting? Which I think is a wrong idea. There is a point in voting, even though we feel hurt. It is time we have to get over that hurt that we were hurt in 1993 when MKO Abiola's election was annulled. We need to get over that and come out again en masse. Why did people elected MKO Abiola? Or why was MKO Abiola elected as the president? Because people came out in large number to vote. So if we want to elect the people's mandate, just like we elected MKO Abiola, we need to come out in large number to vote, because our vote matters. So don't feel hurt anymore because that election was annulled in 1993. It was annulled because of the military era. We shouldn't forget that the military was still in charge at that time. So, but now we have had about 23 years of civil rule, not really democracy, according to Falana. Falana said, we're not in democracy, we're in civil rule. So at least we have about 23 years of civil rule. That means it was no longer under the control of the military. That means if we come out en masse and vote now, then the military have no power like they had in 1993 and all the election. So please, my fellow Nigerians, it is time to forgo that hurt of 1993, come out en masse and vote. It's very, very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. While you were just explaining to our audience, our second guest in the program just joined the program. My brother, Emoisere, it's good to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Good to see you once again. My name is Emoisere Borogan, and I have just signed in from Houston, Texas.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to be here.
Before you join the program, we're just discussing the issue of voting in Nigeria. As many of our people, they are losing hope when it comes to voting during election cycle. So I want you to tell our audience what are some of the benefits of voting during an election?
Well, thank you very much, Prince Ewemade. First of all, let me apologize for signing in late. As I speak, I have had to sign in with my telephone because my laptop is not able to get signals to connect. But be that as it may, there are so many benefits to voting. At least, I mean, first of all, the first thing that comes to my mind when you vote is that you save yourself the trouble of having to complain about the person in the office, because if you don't vote, that is what happens. And then voting also gives you the opportunity to know and to hold somebody accountable to that office to perform their duties correctly, because you have voted, because that is your person of choice. Now, when you don't vote, most of the time you give the corrupt politicians opportunity to put themselves and lord themselves over you. Thirdly, and I wish to stop at this point, is that you can not only would you have saved yourself the trouble of complaining, and also being able to hold someone responsible for their job, but you can be rest assured that you have created or paved way for the future generation of your children, to better governance. At least you'll be able to tell your child, I voted, I did this, I made this happen for your generation. So I wish to stop here for now.
Thank you so much, my brother. Before we continue, I'm going to show a brief video on voting being encouraged by a Nigerian in Nigeria.
Somewhere in Nigeria, mortuary catch fire. 100 dead men died. 86 dead men injured. And then 126 dead men ran for their lives.
Jesus is Lord.
Election don't dey reach you. If you no one hear this kind nonsense from these nonsense politicians, go and get your PVC.
Yes, thank you. We're back again. We are going to read some comment from our viewers. Okay, Solomon, there's no comment there. Our viewers, we are also expecting your comment at the comment section. Okay, Nigerians. The presidential election is coming up 18th of February 2023. We, the members of the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, strongly advise all Nigerians back home, if you already attained the age of voting, go and collect your PVC and be prepared to vote. But this time, we strongly encourage you not to vote those old recycled politicians who has failed Nigeria since 1960. They have failed us woefully, and we shouldn't vote for them again. They are the same old politicians. Buhari was there when I was in secondary school. Buhari again is still the president of Nigeria. The old politicians need to be retired come 2023. We strongly advise that a young, dynamic, vibrant, people-oriented servant should be elected come 2023. So we strongly advise every Nigerian to go and pick up your PVC and be prepared to vote. After voting, defend your vote. Make sure you witness the counting of the ballot box until the winner is declared. 2023 is going to be the year that will decide the fate of Nigeria as a nation. Because of the agitation from several quarters, the Oduduwa, the Arewa, the Biafrans, make or break Nigeria. 2023 is the deciding moment for us. So we strongly advise every Nigerian to vote. Go out there and vote. Your vote does count. But if you don't vote, you don't have right to demand for the dividends of democracy, fairness, justice, good hospitals, good roads, potable waters. You cannot demand for this right. if you refuse to vote when it comes to the election and when it comes to election cycle. So you must vote. Your vote does count. And remember one thing, never collect money from any politician because if you do, you'll be selling away your right for the next 4 years. My brother, Dr. Edmond.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges faced by Nigerians during an election period?
There are many challenges that faces Nigerians during electioneering period. Uh, we should be mindful of that. We've been calling upon Nigerians to get your PVC, but there's a big hurdle in getting PVC in Nigeria. Although INEC keep preaching that they have been making it easier for Nigerians to get their PVC by starting the process online and then completing it by going to an INEC office in their locality to finish the second phase of the process and then come collect their PVC at a later date. But that is still a hassle because after completing the first step online, then when you go to the center, to the office, you meet a huge line. Sometimes you have to waste your whole day and still accomplish nothing. You have to come back on a different day and still accomplish nothing. And when it gets your turn to actually get captured, and you have issues, technical issue for capturing your BVAS or whatever the acronym BVAS and all that for so that to make future accreditation during voting day to be easier. So it's a hassle. It's a struggle. So we should be mindful of this because when we keep because I've seen some Nigerians insulting other Nigerians, say, "Oh, you don't want to collect your PVC," and the person is saying it is difficult to get your PVC. So we need to be mindful of that. Yes, it is difficult to get your PVC. Even though it's difficult to get your PVC due to all these hurdles along the way, doesn't mean we should give up because getting our PVC is very, very essential tool to elect the right leader to lead us into a prosperous future. And that's one problem. And another issue is that you see the fuel issue in Nigeria is costly. And so cost of transporting yourself to the center, that's another thing that people should be mindful of. Because one, unemployment is high in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians don't have jobs. So where would they get the money to transport themselves to the center to finish the second phase of that process? So I think the government or even the local government level need to provide some stipend for people. I know that's like Nigeria being a welfare nation, which Nigeria is far away from being a welfare nation, but they have the funding to do all this kind of thing, to encourage people to come out en masse. That's part of marketing, encouraging your citizens to do their to do their civic responsibility, make it easier for them to do their civic responsibility. So I think government need to come in and help make this easier for Nigerians.
Thank you so much for that. When you don't vote, your vote doesn't count. But if you vote, you have the right to demand for accountability. You have the right to request to see the constituency project that was done by your representative, being it House of Assembly, local government chairman, or National Assembly. It is by your vote that you can demand to see what they have done in your constituency. But if you do not vote, you have no right, because you've given away your right the day you choose not to vote. We must vote. We must continue to vote in every election cycle. It is very important. That is our civic responsibility. My brother, are you connecting on it okay? My brother Mashiri, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. Should those who refuse to vote based on their assumption that their vote doesn't count during an election cycle expect to gain from the dividends of democracy? If yes, can you explain to our viewers why they should partake in the dividends of democracy if they refuse to vote?
Well, let me first of all state something clearly. There's a difference between failing to vote and refusing to vote. When you refuse to vote, it means you have my own understanding, it means you have your voter's card, but you have lost confidence in the system, and as such, you have refused to participate in the process. Now, failing to vote for some reason, you didn't vote, other than the fact that you just outrightly lost confidence in the system. Now, whether or not you will enjoy the dividends of democracy, well, unfortunately, we have come a long way in this whole exercise of voting or not voting, whether votes count or not in Nigeria. That we see that those who don't vote, refuse to vote, or fail to vote are the very same ones that complain the most. So, of course, that by extension means that, well, we all suffer. We all suffer the failure or the refusal of some people to perform their civic responsibilities. So I think it is not right. I mean, it's not even a matter of thinking. We know it is not right, because in our local parlance we used to say, if you do not contribute to the making of the pot of soup, you should not benefit from it. But this is a different scenario. We are all still, it doesn't take your citizenship away from you as a Nigerian. You continue to remain a citizen of the country. So we're all going to benefit where there's anything to benefit, and we're all going to suffer where there's something to suffer. And unfortunately, in the case of Nigeria, we all suffer. And that is what has brought us to where we are, with all this corruption and all this bad leadership that's going on in the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That boils down to those who have their PVC in their possession, but they refuse to participate during the election because they've lost confidence in the electoral process. We must not lose confidence over the electoral malpractices. Yes, no election is free. Yeah, you must have one or two, hiccups in the year and then during the election period. But that shouldn't deter us as Nigerians from exercising our civic responsibility. But that's the only right we have as Nigerians. If we do not vote, we are giving away quite a lot. If we do not vote, we are giving the greedy leaders, the rotten politicians, the ability to continue to do what they've been doing since 1960. If we do not vote, we are giving away our right to demand for a better life. Nigerians deserve to live a better life. What we have today in Nigeria, Nigeria is a nation that has already failed. It has failed its citizen. It has failed itself as a country. So we must vote in order to right the wrong. We must vote. We must go out there and vote and elect good leaders, right from from the councillors to the local government chairman, to the House of Assembly, to the governor, to the National Assembly, the Senate, and the presidency. With your PVC, you can choose who will lead Nigeria come 2023. This is what the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy is advocating for. We need a better Nigeria. We need a young, vibrant, dynamic, someone who has the fear of God, someone that can change the status quo of Nigeria. That is what we want come 2023. Your vote is your right. Dr. Edmond, when it comes to the issue of voting in Nigeria, what are your takes? Can you just give us a summary of the process so our audience can better understand, especially those who lives in the diaspora who are not privileged or, unable to go home to vote during the election. But hearing from you, they might be able to
Okay.
encourage the people back home.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity, my brother Prince Ewimade Konkons. The voting in Nigeria is it's supposed to be very simple, but somehow it's been complicated by various malpractices, corruption, thuggery, and all those things that we want to get rid of, and we must get rid of it over time. So, but just let me give the viewers or the audience a little bit of history of voting in Nigeria. Voting in Nigeria, we all know Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914. That's when it became a country. Northern Protectorate and Southern Protectorate was joined together. But it took some time, almost a decade, before Nigerians, we that are indigenous Nigeria, our ancestors that were indigenous Nigeria, it took a while before they began voting in Nigeria. So that's why I'm talking young Nigeria, you need to take voting very seriously because it's an important right that was denied so many. It was denied our ancestors for so long. And now you have this right that you have been neglecting to exercise. So our ancestors never voted until 1923, even though they became a nation in 1914. It is until 1923 before voting started. They start allowing indigenous Nigerians to start voting. And even at that time, it's not even all Nigerians are allowed to vote. Not all Nigerians are allowed to vote. Only a handful of Nigerians are allowed to vote. You have to acquire some level of money. Maybe you have to have maybe £100 in your account or £200 in your account. If you don't have that much in your account, you cannot vote. And you have to be a man. Only men that have a certain amount of money are allowed to vote. And it was only in the southern region, usually in Lagos or Calabar. The North were not even voting because they are still in the feudal system. So the North did not start voting. It was just the South were voting in 1923. And in 1954, majority of the South started voting. They started allowing women and more men to vote. More people started voting instead of just select few. So 1954. And then advance a little bit further. That's 31 whole years before allowing Nigerians start voting. Then it took 54 years before the North. It took 54 years before Northern Nigerians started voting. So Northern Nigerians started voting in 1979. That's when the North started voting. So you see how as time progresses, this is why it's important that people start learning about their history, learning about the importance of voting. Because if you look at during our electionary period, you see only older folks, pay attention to the population, majorly only older folks vote. The younger populations are only few of them come out to vote because they don't understand or appreciate this history, appreciate that this is an important right that they have been neglecting to exercise. So, but that's why I think I want to share this history so that people can understand it a little better. And the voting continues till 1979. That's when the North started voting. And the Northern women did not start voting until the 80s. So this is how much important voting is. And up to now, our voting have not been perfected, but doesn't mean it cannot become perfect. It can become perfect if we keep on coming out to vote, because democracy is nothing without the people coming out to vote, because democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And election voting is the engine that drives it and that keeps it going. Okay, so that's why we need to come out and keep voting. And if you want to vote, you have to be 18 years of age. As long as you're 18, whether you're a man, a woman, a boy, or a girl, 18 years and above, you are allowed to vote according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. So if you're 18, go and get your PVC. No matter how difficult it may be, get your PVC. Even if you're a Nigerian living in the diaspora, also, if you are in Nigeria and you have enough time, get your PVC, because maybe during election period, like in 2023, you may have enough money to fly down to Nigeria and vote. People have been doing it over the years. Many people are doing it, not a lot, but a good number of people do it. So if you are privileged enough, you are living in the diaspora and you have money to afford a vote and you have your PVC, fly down to Nigeria and cast your vote, because you are a Nigerian, regardless you live outside Nigeria. So that is one thing. And we are hoping that one day just as we have seen changes from 1923, 1954, 1979, and the recent electoral reform of 2022. This is how we're seeing this change. We are hoping that one day in 2023 beyond, 2023 is not going to happen. But if that happened in 2020, that will be 100 years of voting, and then the diaspora are allowed to vote. That means from 1923 to 2023 is 100 years. So it would have been a perfect time to allow diasporans to start voting. But unfortunately, diaspora voting, that's voting while you live. Like I am living in USA, I cannot sit here in USA and vote. It would have been great. Just like my prince, the uncle, my brother Prince, living in UK, would have been great if he can sit in UK and cast his vote. But that is not possible now, which I was wishing, I was hoping, I was praying that it would have been possible in 2023, marking 100 years of history of voting in Nigeria, and now diasporans can are allowed to vote. But regardless, get your PVC as long as you're 18. When the voting date comes, go out there and cast your vote en masse. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful analysis on voting. My brother Emosri, what is your advice to those Nigerians back home who usually collect money to vote during an election? What kind of advice are you going to give to them? Can you give to them today?
Well, we all know that that is wrong because your vote is your voice. Now, when you take money for your vote, it means you have taken money to remain quiet. You have been paid to stay quiet. I would advise them to have a rethink, because this forum is an enlightenment forum. We are here as members of the GCSDN to educate Nigerians of their rights, especially when it comes to voting, casting their votes, and the reasons why they should vote. Now, when you take money instead of and you vote the person that paid you for your vote, you have just sold your conscience. As of a truth, that might not be the person of your choice, but you have been paid to choose the wrong person. And as such, why I say you have been paid to be silent is whatever happens thereafter, you have no say. And then secondly, consider it. Each time you cast your vote, you will do so for the next 4 years. You will have that person in office for the next 4 years. How much can anyone pay you to be quiet in the face of oppression, in the face of corruption, in the face of poverty, in the face of so much suffering, not just for your generation and for generations to come, while the payer is enjoying life to the fullest at your expense? So that's why I said I think it's Nigerians and those who sell their votes should think again. They should think again and hold back and choose leaders that merit to be, or rather deserve to be, in that position by their own estimation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother Imosiri. Fellow Nigerians, selling your vote is not an option, because if you do, like I said before, you are giving away quite a lot. The right to demand for equal justice, the right to demand for good governance, and many other rights that you'll be giving away by one single action of selling your vote. Let's think about it this way. Election cycle, every election is 4 years. 4 years, 365 times 4, which gives you 1,460 days. Okay? And you sell your vote for 5,000 naira, for example. You divide 5,000 naira by 1,460, it gives you 0.29. Are you telling us that your right just worth 0.2 naira? So you're going to be feeding yourself, feeding your family over the next 4 years for 0.2 naira per day. No good hospitals, no, you can't demand for it because you've sold your right. No good roads.
And that is actually 20 kobo.
Yeah, you can't demand for it because you've sold your right. No constant electricity because you've sold your right. Many other rights that you'll be selling by one single act. The art of selling your vote during an electionary period. Fellow Nigerians, do not sell your vote. Your vote is your right. Do not sell your vote. I understand the situation in Nigeria. You need money to feed your family. So when people come to you with a bag of rice, 3 pieces of tomatoes, 5 liters of granite oil, you think that's the way forward for you. You accept it gladly, and in return, you cast your vote for the wrong thief. I call them thief because if they have good intention to do well by the people of Nigeria, they will be coming soliciting for your vote by offering you 5,000 naira or a bag of rice and tomatoes and granite oil. So, fellow Nigerians, you must watch out for those who have the good art, those who have the art of leading honestly and doing what is right by the country. Come 2023, we should all go out and vote. As long as you've attained the age of voting, which is 18, you must go out and vote on election day. Your vote is your right. That's your God-given right. Do not sell it for anything. Not even for 100,000. Especially the youth who get carried away because they are so-called method. Those they call chairman in their local government or their various ward. They offer them a nice car, offer them some money to go and buy other youths to their food. We strongly encourage you guys to stop. Stop. That is why we are where we are today. Nigeria is a sick nation today because of those who have came before you, offering you money, offering you different kind of things to entice you so that you can vote away your rights. Shun money. Fellow Nigerians, you must shun money when it comes to 2023 election. Because 2023 election, that will be the election that will decide the fate of Nigeria. If Nigeria is going to remain as one nation or be split into 5 regions, God forbid, 2023 is going to be the decisive year. So you must go out there, vote, but not those old leaders. We must do away with the old leaders. I'm not going to mention any party here, but we must do away with the old leaders. We don't want anybody that has been in the position, anybody that has been part of this administration, the part of the change administration that they brought to Nigeria. We must not elect anybody from there because they are part and parcel of this government. If they could not change Nigeria for the last 7.5 years, what magic wand are they coming to change Nigeria in the next 4 years? So we must vote right. We must elect a God-fearing servant, not a ruler. We need a servant come 2023, a servant. In the Western world that I live, they are called public servant. They are public servant. They are answerable to us. Not in Nigeria. Nigeria, you are answerable to them. So we must change the status quo. These and many more we ask come 2023, pardon me. So my brother, Dr. Emosiri, come back to you. We have almost come to the end of today's segment. I'm afraid, we don't have much time on this program. Program normally runs between 30 and 45 minutes, So I'm going to give you 1 minute. Summarize. What do you want to say to Nigeria?
Yes, thank you. You have said so much. I don't know if there's anything more I should add, but to take our minds back to, like my brother Edmond, Dr. Edmond, I overheard him say earlier, take our minds back to 1993 when Nigerians came out en masse. Now, on that day, during the presidential election that saw late Chief MKO Abiola as the winner, landslide of that process, every Nigerian came out. And that should tell us that our votes actually count. If it did then, it will still do today, if we let it. So I will encourage everyone to go get their personal voters card, which they call the PVC, and fear nothing, not be afraid. If you are not starting trouble, stay in line to be counted. Those who come to the polling stations to foment trouble, they will stand out and they will be seen. In America, we say stand your ground. Stand your ground. Stay in line. Do not be moved. Do not be afraid. Reason being that your voice must be heard. Your vote must count. You don't have to fight for it because it is your right. We should, I remember during that 1993 election, my father in his 80s stood in line.
Your 1 minute is over, sir.
Yeah, just let me round up. And he was counted. So I'll encourage everybody, please get your PVC card, go out and vote, and it will matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and God bless you. My brother, Dr. Edmond, what is your final word?
Thank you. Thank you once again, friend. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, my brother Messery, for joining us in this conversation. And my brothers and sisters in Nigeria or wherever you are listening to us in this program, please, I at this very moment, I'm begging you, wherever you are, hearing the sound of my voice, and if you are among the Nigerians who believe or who have believed for so long that voting does not count, please, I want you to change that attitude. I want you to change that mindset. Voting does count. If voting does not count, the politician will not carry their money back trying to buy you to vote for them. Because voting counts, that is why they do that. So change that mindset that voting does not count. Even when the rigging or whatever is done, the rigging happens or become rampant or become easier for politicians because people abstain from voting because of voters' apathy. So you need to change your mindset of saying voting does not count, so I'm not going to vote, to a mindset of saying voting does count. I want to come out and vote so that to elect the leader of my choice, because there are many reasons why you should vote. One, it's your right, constitutionally guaranteed. I've mentioned 99 years of suffrage movement to allow you to vote, so you should not take it for granted. And it's an opportunity for you to get the leader of your choice, the leader you want, the leader you know that's going to serve you right. It's your opportunity. Go out and vote. It is the opportunity to know where is your money going. Because if you vote the wrong person, the money will be going into the wrong person's pockets. But if you vote the right person, your money will be used to generate power, build good hospitals, build good roads, build good infrastructure, and build a prosperous economy. And again, you vote because it's an opportunity to build the Nigeria that you want to live in, to build the Nigeria you want your children to live in. That is why you should vote. Please come out and mass and vote. Get your PVC. As long as you are 18 years old as a Nigerian, ensure to get your PVC and ensure to go out there and vote come February 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother, Dr. Edmond. We have come to the end of today's segment of this program, and next week we're going to be having a pre-recorded program, a very unique program at that. It's going to be about two Nigerians who have a different view about Nigeria. That will be next week, 27th. It's going to be a pre-recorded program. I want to use this opportunity to thank my guests in the studio and our fellow Nigerians home and abroad. We thank you and remain blessed. Thank you so much, Dr. Edmond and Emosiri. Thank you for being in the program today.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day.